If you've just transitioned into a plant-based diet and you're losing too much weight and really worried and want to move back from eating plants to eating more meat because you're losing too much weight, this video is just for you. Let's discuss 3 important reasons people lose weight when they transition to a plant-based diet. Now, whenever I talk about weight gain, I'm predominantly talking about muscle gain, the good weight. Yeah, you don't want belly fat gain. You don't want to eat foods that make your belly grows bigger and it's not healthy for you. You really want to gain muscle mass, and that's when I refer to weight gain. It's muscle gain. When you're looking to gain muscle mass, you want to make sure that 3 metrics are taken care of. You are making sure that there's adequate amount of calories. You stay in a caloric surplus. Whatever calories are needed in terms of your daily functions, you're eating a little bit more than that because that goes towards building. What will it build? If you're eating calories, even if they are healthy calories, let's say you're eating like 100% proteins, if you're not going to challenge your muscle fibers, then your muscles will not grow. So challenging muscle fibers, and this is called resistance training. And in resistance training, the way we define challenging is something called progressive overloading, meaning on a weekly basis, increase the intensity of your training. If you're training with a certain amount of weights or repetitions on week 1, week 2 should be about 5 to 7% higher than week 1, week 3 should be 5 to 7% higher than week 2, and you create this chart which is progressively overloading either your weights or your repetitions depending on what you're targeting. Work with an expert to make like a proper progressive overloading chart. This is where I see a lot of people fail. You're going to the gym, you're probably resistance training, but the intensity of training stays the same. You're not really challenging your muscle fibers. Weight gain is not as fast. Number 3 is rest and recovery. Muscles will grow when you adequately rest and recover. Now imagine you're sick, you have fever. Will you gain muscle mass while you have fever? No, your body is not going to prioritize the fuel, the resources of what you're eating towards growing muscle mass when your body is sick. When you're not getting adequate rest and recovery, muscle growth is slow. This is again something I see people doing a lot. You're overtraining, you're sleeping less, you're stressed, you're not taking care of any other metrics, and you're expecting the muscles to grow. It's not going to happen. But now, very specific to a vegan diet, if you've transitioned to a plant-based diet and you're losing too much weight, here are 3 things to look out for. Number 1, the concept of energy density. I would say it's like a superpower. With a lot of people just transitioning to a plant-based diet, it helps them lose weight fast because of this concept called energy density. Simply put, the number of calories which you're getting from vegetables and fruits and whole grains and pulses and anything plants is much lesser than the calories you would get from meat, dairy or eggs per bite. So plants are very, very high in volume, they're very filling, but the amount of calories they are giving you is very less. So let's say prior to going on a plant-based diet, you were used to eating certain quantities in your lunch. If you transition to a plant-based diet and you haven't made changes to your quantities, you will not gain weight, because when you're eating plants, you will have to eat slightly more than you were eating when you were on a meat-based diet. And the kind of food you're eating also changes. So you can't replace like chicken for dal, especially the dals which we used in the Indian context, a lot of water, very little dal. It's not a 1:1. You can't replace it. You have to change the way you're eating. Work with an expert. It really makes a difference, because when you're trying to do these on your own, calculating the numbers, which is what nutrition coaches are trained to do, you're not doing it properly. But you can't transition that 1:1. You'll have to change the way you eat. Not necessarily always eat more. You could find food which is loaded in calories, but not a lot of eating, lot of chewing. But you'll have to change the way you eat because of calorie density. Number 2, fiber and resistant starch. Fiber is only found in plants. So when you're eating more plants, you're also eating more fiber. Interestingly, unlike any other food groups, for instance, if you take too much of sugar, it's converted to body fat. Too much of proteins is converted to body fat. Too much of fats is converted to body fat. Fiber is not converted to anything. Too much of fiber, which inevitably will happen when you're eating more plants, just passes through your body. You'll have excellent bowel movements, but it's not converted to body fat. So maybe a lot of the food you're eating is high fiber. It's making you feel full, and it's making you feel energetic, and it's making you feel awesome, but it's not really contributing to weight gain because it's not converting to body fat. Again, work with someone in terms of understanding what foods are high in fiber, what foods will help you gain weight, and what foods just not cause any weight gain and will further lose weight. If you want more information on this topic, there's a blog which I've written specifically for vegan weight gain with a lot more information. It's in the caption below. Make sure to check it out. Number 3, reduced inflammation. Now, a plant-based diet is naturally very, very anti-inflammatory. Only plants have these enzymes which reduce inflammation in the body, like phytonutrients and isoflavones. These are found in vegetables and fruits and legumes and pulses. The more you're eating, the lesser your inflammation. Chronic inflammation leads to water retention and weight gain, not the healthy weight gain, the unhealthy weight weight gain. Now, let's say you've switched your diet from that being of an inflammatory diet to a non-inflammatory diet. You start losing weight. That's because you're losing healthy weight. You're losing water weight. Your body is functioning better. Your metabolism is slightly higher. You're just functioning more optimally because you're on an anti-inflammatory diet. This should not be necessarily confused with unhealthy weight loss. If your weight loss happens in the first 6 months to 1 year of transitioning to a plant-based diet and you come in your ideal weight range or slightly below the ideal weight range, that's okay. I wouldn't be very worried about it. Unless you want to build muscle mass, which is a different story. But if you're losing weight further, then it's unhealthy. Something is probably not going right, and work with an expert to help you understand. I keep saying work with an expert, work with an expert. It's only because there could be so many different things. For instance, sometimes I've seen like someone having gut dysbiosis or parasitic infections, and that is leading to weight loss. And none of these points would make sense for them. It's, we have to clear out the gut. We have to work in terms of eradicating that particular parasite. Sometimes I've seen people struggling with elevated cortisol or stress hormones and adrenal fatigue, that condition leading to weight loss. Then again, none of these points would make sense. We have to work with them in terms of reducing the adrenal fatigue, helping them combat the stress, and then they start seeing. So it's very person specific. These are obviously more broader terms, and the blog will give you a lot more information in terms of what to eat, what foods are higher in calories versus not. And I think at the end of the blog, I've also done a meal plan which is plant-based Indian plant-based meal plan to help you with muscle gain. But that's more information. This video is just to help you out in terms of understanding the possible causes of losing weight on a plant-based diet. I really hope this makes sense. This is Roshni Sanghvi. I'm a registered holistic nutritionist. If you want to get in touch with me, my team, get on an exploratory call, then click on the link in the caption and let's get on a call and let's talk more. Hope this helps.